Brainy presents The Biggest Lies You Were Made to Believe. Most people don't realize it, but what we call normal is mostly a set of instructions. You grow up learning how the world works, how success looks, who to trust, what's right, what's dangerous, and you assume those lessons are true. But much of what we're told is just conditioning, a structure built to keep you predictable, busy, and of course, easy to steer. So let's talk about the stories the system has been whispering for generations, the lies that shaped everything from your daily decisions to your worldview. Education equals intelligence. They told you that intelligence lives inside a report card, that memorizing and obeying are signs of being smart. But education as it exists today was never about awakening genius. It was built to produce workers, not thinkers. It rewards repetition, punishes curiosity, and trains you to regurgitate rather than reason. Real intelligence has nothing to do with test scores or degrees. It lives in your ability to think independently. This includes connecting ideas, challenging assumptions, and identifying patterns that others may miss. True education begins the day you start learning from experience, failure, and observation. That's when knowledge stops being something you memorize and becomes something you understand. The news tells you the truth. What we call news is closer to stage production than journalism. Every story has a sponsor, every anchor has a script, and every breaking alert is engineered to keep you emotionally dependent. That's because its sole purpose is to provoke emotion and hold your attention. Fear and outrage generate more views than balance or nuance. So that's what you get, a daily stream of conflict packaged as information. The most effective propaganda doesn't lie outright. The stories are framed, edited, and filtered through invisible hands long before they reach the screen. People think they're staying informed. In reality, they're being conditioned, one headline at a time. Science has all the answers. Science was meant to be a living conversation, a humble process of testing, questioning, and most importantly, correcting. However, it's increasingly treated as a belief system. It's like a religion. Trust the science literally became stop asking questions. Real scientists know that discovery starts with doubt, but doubt doesn't serve the institutions that profit from certainty. So the public is told to trust instead of being given the opportunity to understand. It is funding that dictates which questions are explored, and politics determines which findings are allowed to circulate. Science is vital, yes, but it's not infallible. It's only as honest as the people behind it. Celebrities are role models. Long gone are the days when fame followed achievement. Today, it's easily manufactured. In fact, entire industries exist to create people whose main talent is visibility. Their lives are carefully curated and sold back to you as something to chase, an illusion of perfection designed to keep you consuming. Celebrities are literally marketing assets. Every appearance, relationship, and post serves as a key component of a brand strategy. Their opinions shape culture, and it's not because they're so insightful. They just reach more eyes than anyone else does. The system uses fame as a compass for the masses. When people idolize image, they stop trusting their own judgment. Progress is always good. We've been trained to see progress as a synonym for improvement, as if every new invention automatically makes life better. But that belief is exactly how control hides behind innovation. Technology promised everything from more time to more comfort and more connection. Yet people are more anxious, distracted, and dependent than ever. Each new convenience quietly removes another piece of self-reliance. We hand over privacy for ease, attention for entertainment, and worse, critical thought for algorithmic certainty. True progress can't be measured by innovation alone. Integration is just as important to consider. Do these new tools actually benefit us in the long run? Is the trade-off worth it, or do they make us less human? Good guys versus bad guys. It's comforting to think the world divides neatly into heroes and villains. That story keeps life simple. Us versus them, right versus wrong. The system actually thrives on this black and white thinking, because it keeps people divided. Moral certainty is easier to manage than critical thought. Every major conflict, political movement, or cultural feud needs an enemy to survive. The narrative changes, but the structure stays the same. One side believes it's saving the world. The other believes it's fighting corruption. Both sides are fed outrage. Both feel righteous. And neither notices who's pulling the strings in the background. When you realize that most conflicts are orchestrated to benefit the same few interests, good guys and bad guys start looking eerily similar. If it's legal, it's safe. The law was created to maintain order, not to ensure fairness. And what's considered legal often has more to do with profit than morality. Across time, there have been systems that enslaved, censored, or poisoned people, all perfectly within the law. Legality gives a false sense of protection. It allows dangerous industries to operate under the guise of compliance while presenting themselves as legitimate. When power writes the rules protect the power. We're overpopulated. The concept of overpopulation has been pushed for decades. It blames everyday people for scarcity while hiding the truth about how resources are controlled. There's more than enough food, water, and land for everyone. What's missing is balance. A small number of corporations dominate global supply, yet you're told you are the burden, and therefore you should consume less and reproduce less. The goal is to make ordinary people feel guilty, while those hoarding the resources continue to expand their empires. History is exactly what they taught you. And that's what they want you to believe anyway. The harsh truth is, what we know as history is not always what happened. More often than not, it's what was approved to be remembered. What we're made to believe was written by those who needed a certain version of the past to be accepted as fact. Entire events get sanitized, omitted, or romanticized to protect national pride or corporate interest. They teach selective memory because a population that doesn't know where it came from will never question where it's being led. The less you know about the real past, the easier it becomes to repeat it. And the more you study history independently, the more you realize how little of it you were ever meant to know. Perhaps the biggest trick the system ever pulled was convincing you it doesn't exist, that your struggles are personal, not structural, that you just need to work harder, stay informed, and play by the rules. But everything changes the moment you start seeing the pattern. You begin to question how much of what you know is actually the truth. And once that happens, the illusion starts to fade. The system can't control a person who has learned to think, question, and pause before believing. If this video made you think, give it a like and share it with someone who'd appreciate the message. Also, be sure to drop a comment before you go. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.